Yeah, the camera cut off when it wasn't supposed to. So I guess it broke into two parts, I guess. Well, you see, you gotta understand, pickup artists just want you to buy their books and their DVDs. They'll start off with one DVD, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10 DVDs. Same thing with the books. They'll start off with one book. Buy my book. My book only costs $1. Then they start off, next thing you know, there's 2 books, 3 books, 4 books, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 books. So I gotta buy all these books and all these DVDs to figure out how to physically sexually attract women, huh? Yeah, that's what's wrong with it. Now, here's why you're gonna be seeing the fall of the pickup artists between 2020 and 2023. It costs too much money. Who can afford $300, $500, or even worse than that, $1,000 to $3,000 just to participate in a 2-hour, 3-hour, or 4-hour pickup artist seminar? You would have to be rich and famous to do that. And you see, what they don't want to tell you is that the purpose of all that money is to teach you how to talk to women like you see in the movies and the television shows. Now, only a small percentage of men can do that and get away with it. The rest of us would get the police called on us a total of 5 to 10 times. We'll get thrown out of nightclubs and bars by private security because you're taking catchphrases from movies and television shows. And if the woman don't find you physically sexually attractive, it doesn't matter if it's black women, white women, or Mexican women. If they're just not into you, they're just not into you. You try to force the issue, and if you force the issue, then you got to get a consequence. And the consequence could be she can call the police, she can call the security, she can call both, security and the police. And then you can't return back to some of these places because once someone sees your face, it's impossible for you to explain to them, oh, it was just one time, it was just 2 times. And then a lot of these guys make the mistake and the habit of listening to pickup artists way too much, whether it's on the internet, whether you're buying their books or their DVDs. And a lot of the advice that they give out is based on past experiences that are like 10, 15, 20 years ago. For an example, if I make a YouTube video and all of a sudden it's 3 years later, that information is irrelevant. So if I tell you, because I went to Bar Sinister, which is a golf club, and I had a great experience with golf women, that doesn't mean you will have a good experience because I had a good experience. And they try to make you think that because they had great experiences, you're going to have great experiences. That's like telling a poor person, all you got to do is this one thing and you become rich. Not everybody's going to become rich and famous. Not everyone's going to be popular on YouTube. Not everybody's going to have looks, money, and status. There's going to be a certain percentage that's going to be rich and famous. There's going to be a certain percentage that's going to be popular on YouTube. There is going to be a certain percentage that has looks, money, and status. And they don't want to tell you that in these seminars because you won't buy their books and their DVDs. To them, this is a business. This is where they make their money. This is how they pay their bills. This is how they get food and water. This is how they live and survive. And most importantly, this is how they thrive. It is a business. It is a company. You know, if you don't buy their books and their DVDs, they don't get their bills paid. If they don't get their bills paid, they don't get to have food and water. They don't get to survive. They don't get to thrive. So they depend on guys fresh out of high school and college to help them pay their bills. That's basically what this is a scam / hustle. It's no different if you were on the street selling drugs. In order for you to sell the drugs, you got to give off the illusion, the suspension of disbelief that this drug is going to make you fly like Superman. Once again, you'll look at me like I'm crazy and say, put this guy in the straitjacket and throw him in the insane asylum. That's basically what they're doing. They're selling you false hope. Here's another one that makes no sense, the no contact rule. Now, the problem with them saying no contact is that only works if you're in a relationship. Like, let's say if you've been married for 10, 15, 20 years and you need to take a break from your wife or your girlfriend, then the no contact rule works for people in relationships and marriages. But if you're getting rejected one time, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10 times, it is not going to help you if you're constantly being rejected. And it doesn't matter if you find the women physically, sexually attractive. If it don't find you physically, sexually attractive, it don't matter. No contact rule is not going to work for you because you're going to get no contact for a very long time. And the pickup artists and the dating coaches, they know that. More of the pickup artist than the dating coach. Now, if you get arrested, right? A lot of these guys like to look up to these pickup artists and dating coaches like they're superheroes. And there's an old saying, never ever be inspired to always meet your heroes, because they will disappoint you every single time. Let's say you go to a nightclub or in a bar, right? And you try to imitate any pickup artist you see on the internet. Well, if you get arrested by the police, he's not going to take no time out of his schedule to come down to a jail cell and get you out of jail. Because to him, he expects you to have enough common sense to understand you should have not done the things that you've done. And he'll do what they call a lot of deflecting. Like, you should have never went to that nightclub in the bar without me. Other words to say is, if I was there, you would have never gotten in trouble. When the reality is, whether he was there or not there, you would have gotten in trouble anyway. And the reason why I'm saying you're going to see between 2020 to 2023 the fall of the pickup artists is that it costs too much money. Think about it. It costs too much money to go to these boot camps, to have them train you to do what it is that they tell you they train you to do. And you're never going to be able to get the females that you want because, let's be honest, if you couldn't get women that are 8s, 9s, and 10s when you were in high school, when you were in college, or in your early 20s, and by the time you're 30, 35, 40, you're not going to get women that are 8s, 9s, and 10s. You're even lucky if you get a girl that's a former supermodel or a former cheerleader. You're lucky if you even get that at age 30, 35. And I'm talking about if you're the average man. You're lucky if you get it on an occasion. Most of us are not going to get the women we see in the movies and the television shows. And by the time you get 30, 35, 40 years old, you would have already lost $5,000 or $10,000 messing around with these pickup artists. And even if you sue and take them to court, most of the time these guys usually win because they're so good at getting lawyers on their side. You lose a lot of times in these court battles because these guys are good at proving that you spent the money, you knew what you were doing when you signed the contract, so then nothing falls on them, it falls on you. And I'm talking about the guys who spend their money thinking this is going to help. Now, let's talk about the second reason why it's going to fail. Because women know. Women watch YouTube videos, okay? Don't think black women, white women, and Mexican women do not watch pickup artist YouTube videos. The girls that you're trying to get in high school and college, or at work, or at the gym, they watch the videos. You may not see them watching the videos because they're at work, they're at school, they're at the gym, they're getting their hair and their nails done. Let me tell you a little secret that my mother taught me a long time ago. God rest her soul, rest in peace. I'm going to tell you a secret that my mom taught me. Women always watch what you do. Just because it don't seem like it, just because it don't feel like it, just because you don't think no women are watching, there are women watching. They can watch up close and personal. They can watch from a far distance. There are women who watch these videos. So when you come to the nightclubs and you come to the bars and you get your Mac Daddy LL Cool J Mac on, or you try to come in there like Jay-Z, Tupac, Biggie, you try to come in there like 2 Chainz, Future, Wiz Khalifa, you try to come in there like LeBron James, she already knows what you're trying to do before you do it. Because she'd have had time to watch your video. And you might be scratching your head trying to figure out, how does this woman watch my videos or watch my favorite pickup artist videos and she don't know what I'm doing? So when you try those catchphrases, they don't work because the woman are watching the videos. So now the woman is 2 steps ahead, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps ahead of us. There are women who watch my YouTube videos as of right now. When I go to a McDonald's or a Burger King, I can tell which women watch my videos and which women don't watch my videos. Some women will look at me with that look like, I think you a pickup artist. And next you know, my order get messed up because that woman thinks I'm an asshole. It doesn't matter if I say I'm not an a-hole. It's the fact that I made the YouTube video and she saw it. And she brings anger and resentment towards me because why? You made a video that you had no business making. Well, guess what? Women watch the pickup artists' videos. That's the next reason why it fails. Everybody knows what a pickup artist is. So it can't be no secret if everybody knows what it is. And you see, the next reason why it's going to fail. Restrictions and being limited. They'll tell you don't go after women that are average or below average looking. But behind the scenes, you got pickup artists that go after women that are 300 pounds, 400 pounds, but they don't want you to see that. A lot of times when they do get women, they don't want you to see that they are dating big women. They don't want you to see that they're messing with average and below average women because it kills the suspension of disbelief. There's maybe only 2 or 3 pickup artists that actually can do what I'm describing, which is date supermodels and cheerleaders and actresses. Only 2 or 3 of them can do that. The rest of those pickup artists, they're not Matt Cross. They're not dating the type of females that he describes in his video. They're stealing his platform, they're stealing his material, and they're using it for themselves, and they're not having no success. But they take all the person's money. That's why I said you're going to have a case where somebody comes in and sue because your product didn't work. There's restrictions. And the reason why I say there's restrictions is because the restriction problem is you're going to end up getting angry and frustrated, and then you're going to be trying to figure out why you're not getting no results. Now, let's get to the bottom of it. You see, a lot of guys going to start going to strip clubs because they're not going to be able to understand why they're not getting nowhere. And then they try to tell you, don't go to the strip clubs. But then you might catch 2 or 3 pickup artists going to the strip clubs. You will catch pickup artists dating women that are 300 pounds, 400 pounds, and then lie to your face and say, oh, I'm just doing this for an experiment or for a video. No, he don't want you to find out that he's fake and he's a fraud. So between 2020 and 2023, you're going to see the fall of the pickup artists. Then they don't want you to go overseas. So you're telling me you don't want me to go overseas, you don't want me to go to no strip club, and you don't want me to date average or below average looking women. So you just want me to just mess with women that are 8s, 9s, and 10s, and that's it. And they'll say yes 99.99%, but here's the problem. By the time you get 30, 35, or 40 years old, if you're still not getting the women that they tell you to get, that's how you know you've been scammed out of a lot of money. And the thing is for you to never find out or catch on to the scam. By the time you do, it's too little too late. You see, only the smart guys figure out real fast, real quick, that it's a scam. Because it goes back to the old age question. If you couldn't get women that are 8s, 9s, and 10s when you were in high school and college or in your early 20s, you're not going to get them when you're 30, 35, 40, 45 years old. Like when they say an older man and a younger woman, okay, there's a misconception to that. Because what they're not telling you is what type of older man that young women find physically sexually attractive. Is it the older guy that's in his 30s and 40s and 50s that's in great athletic shape with looks, money, and status? Or is it the older guy that's bald-headed and got a fat gut? Because if you're bald-headed and you got a fat gut and you're not physically sexually attractive and you're in your 30s or 40s or 50s, that's not the older man that young attractive women are attracted to. The older man that's in his 30s, 40s, and 50s is the one that's got hair on his head, no fat gut, goes to the gym, has money and status, and is physically sexually attractive. They want that older guy. And they don't tell you that in those 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour seminars. And a lot of times, it's like the Twilight Zone. If you do try the techniques, you might get a girl, but then you might get a woman that's 300 pounds, 400 pounds. And you're trying to figure out, okay, he taught me the techniques, but why I'm getting the complete opposite? Because it's the suspension of disbelief. He told you that because he don't want to tell you it's actually your looks, it's money, it's status. Think about it. Why they charge you that much money to learn something? And you see, by the time you find out that it's not helping you, it's too little too late. By then, you be 30, 35, you be 40, 45 years old, just now realizing the shocking truth. So between 2020 to 2023, you're not going to see too many guys talking about being a pickup artist because they've been exposed by everyone. Midtowns, incels, you know, they've been exposed by the news media. They've been exposed by women. So now when you try to do pickup artist techniques, everyone's going to deem you as some type of creep weirdo because you're trying to imitate pickup artist techniques. They've been demonized. And to me, the only pickup artists that are real pickup artists that actually try to help you are people like Matt Cross, Mystery. The rest of those guys are just trying to get paid and get some money out of it because they see the only thing they can get out of it is money. And when they start cracking down on pickup artists, don't be surprised between 2020 to 2023 that all of a sudden they start coming up with new rules and laws that if you try to become a practice of a dating coach or a pickup artist, you might be required to do lame disclaimers in YouTube videos in the future. Don't be surprised that if you keep trying to imitate them, you might get arrested and go to jail. Because when you start taking their techniques and trying to talk the way they talk, women look at that as you're being a pervert and you're being a weirdo. And then what you're going to find out is the guy who doesn't even imitate being a pickup artist gets more women than the guy who does try to become a pickup artist. But they're not going to tell you that. And you see, they don't want to put this in the seminar because you won't buy the books and the DVDs. The money, think about it. Why are they charging you that much money to learn how to get females? And then what they'll try to do is they'll try to use stuff to sound convincing because they don't want you to catch on to what they're really trying to do. By the time you find out, it's too little too late. So I made the video to explain what I think is going to happen to these guys between 2020 to 2023. Till then, peace.